What are you feeling right now? Relief? Resolve?
A little hot, a little sweaty, but already looking forward. Starting to plan. You just get in that plan stage immediately when you're in the playoffs. It's like suspended life. You have new life for 7 more games or for another series, and you keep on going. So it's living every play.
Coach, in Houston, you were mentioned regarding coming back home. You were confident that you'd get the win, and you did that. Congratulations on that. Can you give your assessment of the offensive and defensive performance by your big men?
Yeah, we had a lot of faith in them. We told them go right in at them. Make sure that the Rockets had pressure put on them interior defense so that they would collapse. We'd get other things off them by shots. We knew that or thought that they would have to double team to give some help. And, because they were shorthanded, that it would be a foul situation probably. And, Powell and Drew both played well in segments of the game offensively, but they did a really good job defensively.
Well, Phil, you called it. You said when they came back to Staples Center they would play better. That's the pattern. But like the ancient ones say, it only takes a moment to be enlightened. Was there a moment when the squad became enlightened to come out with such fury?
Well, they're not Bushido Warriors yet, Brick, but they're working their way in that direction, even though the moment hasn't arrived. But they feel, they're much more active on their home court. And, I mean, this is a problem a coach always, is chattering about with a team is, you don't let a crowd or noise dent your energy. And, their energy level, obviously quite more active, much more prolific in this kind of a game than it was in the other nights or afternoon last Sunday when we played in Houston. The idea of trying to corral, Brooks is a problem. It's going to be a problem for us all the way through the playoffs. It was a problem for us last year against Boston. We know that this is an area of weakness that we are always working on. And for tonight, we're very happy with it.
Sorry, over here.
Your initial thoughts on the Nuggets, team you guys have obviously had a lot of success against this year?
We did. They're a different team. They're playing with much more confidence. They have roles that are much better defined, I think, as a basketball team. Their defense has become a priority factor for them. That's always a big deal for teams when they believe in defense rather than believing in offense. We know what type of a team we're facing. Preparation time is going to be limited. We're going to have to go just on emotion and gut level, perhaps for the first game, but we want to hold home court in that first night.
So you said energy. I mean, the disparity between the starts of these 2 games, the last 2 here, the last 2 there are, staggering. Is it just energy? How as a coach, do you get your team to overcome that in the next series?
We've been a real good road team. I'm ultimately confident that we can go out and playoffs and win games on the road. But, multiple wins on the road are not easy to do, and we know that. There's a preparation that you make mentally, and then there's a reality of coming out and having to play with that kind of energy. And you saw how it affects ball clubs in Houston tonight or this afternoon. The first time we played against them, they came out with, ripping 3-point shots from distance. The second time we played them without Yao, they were, going inside and tearing us up on the interior part in the paint. And, we just had to match that energy and never could rise to that occasion. So those are things that players experience. You hope they work on it and they believe it, and they come back and they find a way to do that later on in the playoffs, and make that a note in their performance.